Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Liat failed because management refused to assert themselves and allowed politicians to make important and costly decisions. This story takes the lead in our 895th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 8th July 2020. Details after this important message.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Aviation insider Mario Reyes blames politics for the demise of Liat, casting doubt that a new entity will fill the void. Stanley Lucian of HTS News Force reports.
Mario Reyes is better placed than most to tell the tale of the decline and eventual demise of Liat. He flew with the regional airline, eventually rising to the position of captain. But his other roles brought him even deeper into the bowels of the bird. He served as a director of the company. According to Reyes, many of the decisions taken by the management of Liat were not commercially sound, but driven instead by the interests of major shareholder nations.
If Liat was ever run as a commercial business, it would be very successful. But unfortunately, it wasn't. It was run by politicians interfering with the commercial activities of the airline. And as a consequence, the airline paid the price.
Reyes says Liat gave up profitable routes to smaller competitors and time and again made decisions that commercially operated airlines would not have made. He says the management of Liat failed to assert itself against the pressures of the politicians of major shareholder governments. This, to a large extent, he suggests, sealed Liat's fate.
Let no one fool you. The management has a significant role to play in Liat's misfortune. Significant. Maybe because they were not strong enough to run Liat like a business and they pandered to political interference, possibly. Actually, why am I saying possibly? Of course they did, right? The other side of it, the commercial activities that Liat decided to provide, instead of fitting its operation to the demand, they decided to tell the traveling public that this is what I provide and you have no choice. And in doing that, you then allowed other people to come in with different types of operations, which took away from your market share. So let's go through the operators.
Much has been made of the price of regional travel, specifically the taxes on tickets. He explains how it all worked.
Let's say, for example, from St. Lucia to Dominica. You would have to go from St. Lucia at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to Dominica, to Barbados, to then get to Antigua, to get to Dominica. And as ridiculous as that seems, it will take you 7 hours, and the airfare for that flight, which I've paid many times for my staff to get to Dominica, was $660 US. Now you think, well, that's ludicrous. Why would I pay $660 US? But actually, out of that 660, Liat actually got 185. The rest of it were taxes, the privilege to go through the Barbados airport on the way down, and to leave it. You have to pay 60 US for that. Then you go into the Antigua airport, in and out, and you pay for the privilege of that. And that was not part of what you wanted to do. You wanted to go from St. Lucia to Dominica.
Caribbean governments are scrambling to come up with a model that would work in a post-Liat environment. There's word of a few airlines seeking to pick up the slack, but the profitable routes would attract their interest, leaving travelers on less profitable routes in the lurch. With the departure of Liat, one can expect much turbulence in the regional aviation sector before anything approaching smooth sailing can be secured. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News for us.
Meanwhile, the National Workers' Union is concerned that St. Lucian's staff at Liat were informed about the fate of the regional air carrier via the media. The union says the situation is compounded by the issue of severance pay. HTS's Solange Alfred reports.
The announcement of the liquidation of Liat came as a surprise to many. The cash-strapped entity has been struggling to keep its wings in the air for years. However, it could not survive the devastating blow to the air travel market by COVID-19. The planned liquidation could place a large number of workers on the breadline. Senior Industrial Relations Specialist at the NWU, the bargaining agent for Liat employees in St. Lucia, Lawrence Poyot, decries the way in which the news was broken to the employees.
We are very disappointed with the manner in which this matter is being handled. The employees, like every other member of the public, were informed that they no longer have a job via media by Gaston Brong and my good friend and comrade, Prime Minister Gonzalez of St. Vincent.
Even more troubling, Poyot says, is the issue of paying the now redundant employees what is owed to them.
Our biggest concern at this point is the fact that in both instances, the Prime Ministers who are shareholders of Liat are saying that they're not able to meet the cost of the employee severance.
Poyot says the many years of dedicated service of Liat employees cannot go unrewarded. He says the union will move with haste to work in the best interest of the employees.
We are dealing with a situation where employees give thousands of years of service to Liat if you have to combine all the years of service. And the union will do all within its power to ensure that the employees' entitlements are secured and are paid.
The senior trade unionist says formal communication is in the works to engage the chairman of the shareholders of Liat, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Between 30 and 40 St. Lucians served the air carrier, some of whom were employed with the airline for more than 30 years. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Over in Trinidad and Tobago, the COVID-19 restrictions did not only affect fast food lovers, but sales also plummeted. Gisha Calazar Alonso of CNC3 Business Watch has the details.
COVID-19 restrictions not only affected fast food lovers, but sales also plummeted.
In its recent financial statements, Prestige Holdings recorded a net loss of $8 million for the 6 months which ended on May 31st.
Gisha Calazar Alonso has more in tonight's Business Watch.
The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted heavily on the fast food industry, and Prestige Holdings Limited was not spared. The company has recorded a net loss of $8 million for the 6 months ended May 31st, 2020. In a statement of the company's financials, Chairman Christian Mute said, after a strong first quarter performance, the second quarter results highlighted the harsh reality of the national shutdown caused by the COVID-19 virus. Mute said, however, since the phased reopening, sales trends in most of its branches have been encouraging. Meanwhile, Mr. Vincent Pereira has been appointed chairman of Republic Financial Holdings Limited. Mr. Pereira joined the Republic Group in July 2019 as a member of the board of Republic Bank Limited. He was further appointed as chairman, Republic Bank Limited, effective January 1st, 2020. Mr. Pereira is the president of BHP Trinidad and Tobago, a position he has held since 2005. In other business news, the University of the West Indies has established a cooperative investment committee. The committee will serve as an advisory team for the university's participation in large-scale private sector investments. One of the projects before the committee is a proposal for a global medical school. Keisha Cowless Alonso, Cincy 3 Business Watch.
Over in Jamaica, PNP's president, Dr. Peter Phillips, is taking Prime Minister Andrew Holness to task over what he describes as a lack of action in the fiasco at the St. Anne Municipal Corporation. Details from Prince Moore of TVJ News.
Not one, but 3 instances of impropriety have been brought against the former chairman of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation, Michael Belnavis. First up was the $46 million cleanup project for the resort town of Ocho Rios. The funds were requested from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, by the corporation. The matter gained greater public attention after details of the contracts were revealed, including how the contractor was chosen. The details were unearthed in the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. The meeting led to the corporation's CEO, Ravel Morris, taking a break from his duties, and more questions at the feet of the corporation's now former chairman, Michael Belnavis. But the issues surrounding Mr. Belnavis escalated further with the installment of a charging port for the chairman's Porsche. Speaking yesterday at the PNP's Region 6 meeting in St. James, PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips questioned the inaction of Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
The same mayor is said to be involved in a company that built a structure on government lands without permission and against building regulations. That building was demolished only after it became public, but again the Prime Minister says he's waiting on an investigation. Yet the mayor has now resigned according to reports that we have received, while the Prime Minister is awaiting an investigation.
Dr. Phillips says the unethical issues which were revealed at the municipal corporation would not have been uncovered if it was not for the minority members in the council, led by Councillor Winston Brown. He also said civil society groups such as the National Integrity Action and the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal had a role to play in the mayor resigning on Friday. The PNP president says more pressure will be added to get any acts of corruption dealt with.
It is going to require the concerted action of the people of Jamaica to stop this misuse, and I have to say theft, of the Jamaican people's resources that is taking place across the country.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
In the meantime, in order to rid Jamaica's political system of nepotism and cronyism, Gleaner columnist Peter Espiot is urging legislators to make the practice a crime.
In order to rid Jamaica's political system of nepotism and cronyism, Gleaner columnist Peter Espiot is urging legislators to make the practice a crime. His view follows recent revelations of cronyism and nepotism in 2 Integrity Commission reports on Petrojam. While speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica this morning, Reverend Espiot pointed to another case.
We remember the former mayor of Lucy, Sharonette Horton. She was found guilty of hiring or giving contracts to 11 of her relatives, sisters, cousins, etc., in-laws, and so on. But no, she couldn't be found guilty because it's not a crime. You mean to say there's nobody else in Hanover that could get these contracts other than these 11 relatives of hers? This is nepotism.
He believes the implementation of serious sanctions could reduce the practice.
Why can't we have the PNP who is seeking power or the JLP seeking to hold on to power? Why can't we pressure them to say, if you elect me, I'm going to make nepotism a crime? They don't dare do that because then the people will not support them. Why should I support the party if I'm not going to get a job under cronyism? You know, it is a serious matter, I agree. But we've got to step up the pressure on both parties.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.